Have you ever heard someone say that if you take the Cambridge C1 exam, you're basically fluent? Or if you know the exam strategy, you can pretty much pass even if your English isn't that good? Well, in this episode, we're going to put those ideas to the test. So hi, I'm Hayley, and I'm an English teacher, and I've been teaching the Cambridge exams for the last 12 years or so now. And in this episode, we are going to be discussing some agree or disagree statements about the Cambridge exams, focusing mainly on Cambridge C1 and C2. So we're going to be talking about whether the exams really reflect your level of English, whether exam technique actually matters a lot, whether C2 is actually worth it, and whether some students are aiming for these levels too early, and much, much more as well. And as you watch, I want you to play along with me as well. I want you to let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree with these statements. So if you are preparing for the Cambridge C1 or C2 exam, this video should help you to think kind of more clearly about your exam preparation, what actually matters, and what's holding you back as well. But before we do take a look, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and give this video a like if you learned something new today. It just helps other Cambridge exam candidates to improve their English and get some advice as well for their exam. And having said that, let's get into it then. So we're going to take a look at these agree-disagree statements then. So I actually got this idea from my lessons. I've kind of stolen this from something that I do with my students in lessons. If we're having a conversation group, for example, or just a speaking part of the lesson, what I do is I give them controversial statements and I get them to agree and disagree from different viewpoints, and it's really good for kind of generating discussion. So that's what I wanted to do here, but the discussion will be mainly in the comments for you to kind of agree or disagree with what I'm saying as well. If you did want to join any of my groups or individual classes, just click up there. I'll leave the link there for you and you can take a look at that. But we're going to take a look at the first statement here, which is: passing Cambridge C1 does not mean you are truly advanced in real life. I am inclined to agree with this. Yeah, I would kind of agree. I would say, I mean, Cambridge C1, the Cambridge exams, they're very academic English, right? They're not real English, let's say. They're not street English. Not a lot of the stuff, but quite a bit of the stuff that you learn, you're not going to hear people speak in everyday life. Like linking expressions, for example. These are such a big part of the exam, you know. However, on the other hand, what's more, you'll never hear people actually speak like this. I've never said however in my life in a conversation, or what's more. That's just for writing, but in speaking, I would not talk like that. You know, cleft sentences, you know, inversion forms. I don't think I've probably ever used an inversion form in my life either. It's just... yeah, I'd say it's not real English. And if I were to, you know, put you in a random town in England or in the US and just say, okay, survive, would you be able to do it? I'd imagine it would be quite a struggle at first. Just, you know, all of the different colloquialisms and the slang and the regional differences, accent, everything. You'd probably struggle quite a bit, to be fair, even if you have passed the Cambridge C1 exam, because it's not the same as being in a real life situation. It was the same for me when I lived in Italy. You know, I studied for 2 years. I was definitely not advanced level when I went. I was probably like B1 level, but I was lost for like a good 3 months. I probably couldn't understand what people were saying. I couldn't really communicate very well. It was just a mess, an absolute nightmare. And then, you know, it kind of clicked for me. But yeah, I would say passing Cambridge C1 doesn't mean you're advanced, possibly. Not in real life, anyway. Yeah, there's a difference. So, sorry if you're studying for the Cambridge C1 exam. Alright, next one. Cambridge C2 is not necessary for most learners, even very ambitious ones. Ooh. I would say yes. I'm seriously going to run myself out of business if I do this. I shouldn't be answering these questions. As a C2 teacher, yes. Honestly, not a lot of people do the C2 exam. It's a very... I think one of my students said this to me. they said they'd done research and it was something like however many millions and millions of exams that Cambridge do a year, and there's something like 30,000 people that take the C2 exam a year out of like a million. Hang on, let me find the email that they sent me because I want to get this right. What was his name? Here it is. Okay, so this is from Roland. Hi, Roland, if you're watching. So he said, his research has shown that Cambridge delivers around 6 million exams annually. For the most part, these are B2 and C1 exams. And only around 50,000 are C2 exams. Only 50,000 people take the C2 exam annually compared to the 6 million that are done. So yeah, not a lot of people do it anyway. But yeah, honestly, I'd say it's not really necessary unless you are applying for a certain job that really that demands a C2 certificate. I mean, if you want to do it for yourself, sure, go ahead. It's a massive challenge. Challenge yourself. It's not a bad idea, but is it necessary? I'd say no, really. But if you want to do it, go ahead. Just thinking of my other student, I had a student last year who I've not seen in a while. Hello, if you're watching, Bula. He took the exam, I think he took it twice and passed the C2 exam. He got a B grade, C2, and it wasn't enough. And he's like, no, I want the A, I want the A. And I said, why? What does this mean for you? Like, it's not, you've already passed. It's good. And he's like, no, it's not good enough. I want the A. I'm like, but you're fluent. You speak fluently. Like, your English is great. No, it's not enough. To me, it's not necessary. But if it's a personal goal, go for it. Who am I to stop? If you need help as well, you can take a lesson. I'll put the link up there. If you need a C2 lesson, I'm available to help you, even though it's not necessary. But come along, I'll help. Anyway, next one. Preparing for Cambridge exams can make your English less natural. Yes, I would agree. I said this from the first question that I answered. It's very textbook English. It's very academic English. People go a bit too far with trying to like cram bizarre vocabulary into the way they speak, and it comes off a bit robotic sometimes. They go a bit too far with the phrasal verbs and idioms and trying to use all these weird sentence structures and stuff to give their sentences variety, which yes, examiners want to see, but when you're talking in a normal context, it just sounds weird. So yes, I do see this, particularly in writing as well. I see a lot of students just trying to use all these crazy structures and stuff, and I think, I can't even understand what you want to say because you're focusing too much on all this different grammar and vocabulary. So I would say yes, it does make your English a bit less natural. Again, I'm not doing myself any favours here as a teacher, am I? People aren't going to take lessons with me anymore. All right, next question. A wide range of vocabulary is useless if you cannot use it naturally. Absolutely correct. That's exactly what I just said when I answered the other question. Great if you've got the vocab, but if you're not using it appropriately, yeah, you're going to sound weird. If you're using these like really old style words that no one says anymore, yeah, you're going to sound weird. You're going to sound like a robot, or you're going to sound like someone from the 1920s or something like that. So yeah, great to learn it, but you need to learn it in context. And yeah, just don't go overboard with crazy vocabulary. Like, simple vocabulary is fine. When people get to like advanced C2 level, they get really panicked about vocabulary being too simple, which is a legitimate worry because in the exam they want to see all these synonyms and stuff. But simple vocabulary is still okay. It's good to have a mix of, simple plus, maybe a bit rarer for the exam. In real life, yeah, it's a bit different. You just have to go off context, I guess. Speaking of vocabulary, I've got something new. I built something to help you to actively use your vocabulary. So I had a lot of students say to me that they basically have the same problem, that they know lots of vocabulary, but they're really struggling to use it when in the moment, like they can't get it into their head, they can't use it in speech. So to solve this problem, I built a platform for you. My students are testing this at the moment. Actually, it's not out yet, but hopefully by the time you watch the video, it will be. So it's all for grammar and vocabulary. It's specific to the Cambridge C1 exam at the moment, but I will be adding C2 and B2 to it in the future, so stick around. Take a look at the link, and you'll be able to see what's on it. But the idea is that you actively practice, not passive, active. So it's got all the grammar and vocab you need for the C1 exam, and it's built to get this into your long-term memory, and for you to kind of slowly build it up so that you get this network in your brain, let's say, of all of the vocab and the grammar you need, and it's all connected, and you can actually get it out of your head and into your mouth when you speak. So as I said, my students are testing it at the moment. I've had great feedback. One of my students said to me, I can't believe how many gaps I've got in my grammar. I didn't notice how much I don't know. Same with vocabulary. She just said, oh my God. She actually started panicking about her exam because she said, oh, I don't know if I'll pass this with the amount of gaps I've got. But she's going through it and she said it's great, really nice for getting all that vocab in. So click up there. If it's not out yet, that'll take you to a waiting list. You can put your name down, and then as soon as it's out, I'll send you the link, and you'll be able to take a look at the platform and use it. If it is out, click up there anyway, and that will take you to the platform, and you can use it. Okay. Links in the description as well if you need it. Anyway, we're going to carry on to our next statement. Doing endless practice tests is one of the worst ways to prepare for C1 or C2. Ooh, yeah, I kind of agree with this. I kind of agree. I'm not saying it's bad. Definitely do a practice test because that will show you what you need to work on. I'll put a link in the description to a few practice tests and you can go there and download that. Yeah, it's a good way of getting your level, showing you your level and what you're missing, what you need to work on. Great. But if you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, you're not necessarily going to get better. What you need to do is build your vocabulary and grammar, especially for C1 and C2. Vocabulary is a massive thing that a lot of people underestimate and they don't spend much time on because they think they know it. Don't do that. You should be spending quite a bit of time building your vocabulary and your grammar. That's really going to help you with use of English. Read anything. You don't have to read an exam task. Read anything that's kind of designed for native level speakers. Read that. Same with listening. Listen to podcasts. I've got a podcast, click up there. I've got one not specifically for the C1 exam, but it is based at C1 level. Click up there to listen to it. Any podcast, anything that you enjoy, watch TV, get real resources, not just exam resources. And that will help you because you'll naturally pick up real language rather than just exam-based language. And then kind of in tandem, at the same time, keep doing practice tests, but don't only just do one after the other, because your motivation will go down, you'll get bored, and you might not improve. Just doing more isn't going to make you improve. You need to also improve your grammar and vocab at the same time. All right, next one. You cannot fake your way through C2 with exam strategies alone. 100% agree. I feel like exam strategies, they're not even that important at C2, I feel like. Yes, you need to know what to look for, and yes, you need to be aware that they're going to try and distract you, especially in listening and reading. But you need a very instinctive, natural, I want to say instinct, but I've already said the word instinctive, a very natural understanding of English. It's testing your natural ability to understand English, which at C2 level, it should come, without even having to think too hard about it. Exam strategies, you just need to be aware that they're going to distract you. Maybe with listening, you could do with a couple of strategies, but it's more about your natural instinct for English than strategies, I would say. So I would just focus more on reading, listening, not necessarily to exam stuff, just building your vocabulary and stuff like that. All right, next one. Oh, that's it. We're done for today. That was all my agree, disagree statements. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you agree or disagree with me on anything I've said, I'd like to kind of start a discussion with you. If you did enjoy this, if it helped you in any way, make sure that you give the video a like and that you are subscribed to the channel as well. I give lessons, long form lessons every Saturday and short every single day, so you can carry on learning every day with me if you like. And yeah, and if you have any questions or comments about the C1 or C2 exams, just let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to take a lesson with me or any of my video courses, you can go to www.englishclassesonline.co.uk and you can see all of my lessons and services there. That's all from me for today, and I'll see you in another class soon. All right.